Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Gemini Gaming 1990, bringing y'all the very first real nigga story. These stories are gonna be real, no gimmicks, no nothing to prompt them up, just straight experiences that happen to your boy. So the very first one is gonna be about credit card scams and unfortunately a gay person. Nothing against the sexuality of anybody out there, but when you get into the story, you're gonna be like, yeah, come on, you like Gemini? That happened? So alright, where shall I begin? So it was pretty much 2009. It was the summer of 2009. I was working for Hy-Vee, which is a grocery store, and essentially I was only making about maybe $7 at the time, maybe $7.50 an hour. $7 an hour at the time. And honestly, I had just had a daughter about a few months prior to that. So essentially at this time, money's not coming in real good. You don't know what you want to do far as school. You don't have a better job, so you're trying to figure out, how can I get more money? What can I do for more money? You know what I'm saying? So within that time frame, basically, I'm on MySpace, and this is right before Facebook had really started kind of popping off, I guess you could say. So right on MySpace, there's this dude, and this dude had hit me up out the blue. Hence where I said the gay dude. So the dude had hit me up out the blue and was like, yo, you want to make some money? Now, mind you, with what I just said about the financial situation, I'm like, money? Yeah, you know, what we talking about? And he basically said all you need to do is basically have a bank account, and what we'll do, you know, we'll write a check, etc., etc. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, when can we meet up? We can see how we can do this, whatnot like that. Now, I had a bank account with Bank of the West. So what I basically did was, he gave me a check. We did it 4 times, if I'm not mistaken. He gave me a check, and the checks were $600 amounts. So, you know, cash the first one, got the money. Cash the second one, got the money. Cash the third one, got the money. Now the 4th time the check came around, there were some issues that came in hand. So it really wasn't like, you knew what you was doing was wrong, but the fact that you was young and the fact that the money was coming in, you was basically like, okay, you know, it's fast money, but like the old heads always say, anything coming too quick like that is going to end, and it ain't going to end well. Hence what's going to happen at the end of the story. So pretty much, you know, I'm doing it, and basically how it would go is he would give me the fake check, and I would give him half of it. So he give me $600, he keep 300, I keep 300. But he's not traced to anything. So everything is going to fall back on me in the end. But during the time, I didn't know that. So I'm like, well, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble. So what he basically says is, nah, man, you know, we'll do it this one last time. And basically all you got to do is close the account. I went to the bank, and the bank teller basically tells me, we can get the account closed, but unfortunately we can't close the account right now because there's a pending check. Basically, once the check clears, then you can go ahead and do that, and you can go ahead and do it. So you can close it. So I'm like, all right, cool. So essentially, what ends up happening, I end up getting fucked like bad, and I end up having to pay all the money back. I end up having to go to the bank, let them know what happened, try and somehow get out of it, etc., etc. But before that time happens, what basically goes down is me and my homie Telly, aka Tank, we trying to figure out a way, how can we fuck this nigga up? We about to beat his motherfucking ass because he done played me, etc., etc. We gonna whoop his motherfucking ass, get that money back. So we had found this steel pipe that we found like months prior, doing something, you know, playing around. We found this pipe. So I bring the pipe. I think we had like a bat with us too. We knew we didn't know exactly where he lived, but we knew the apartment complex where he lived at. So the goal was basically to make him believe that we was on some gay that I was on some gay shit, and he gonna come outside. Cause during the whole time he's sitting here talking about, oh, I wanna suck your dick, and you ain't never had your dick sucked by a guy, so you don't know how it feels. Now mind you, I gotta play into it. I never said nothing gay back to him. I just want to put that out there. But I had to basically play into it. Because the whole time I'm like, if I don't fake it, I ain't never gonna get a chance to either A, beat his motherfucking ass, or B, get my motherfucking money back. So I'm like, nah, I ain't never done that. I ain't really with that. You know, playing it off but not disrespecting him at the same time. So after that pretty much happens, we ended up going to his crib. He never came outside though. He ended up getting his number changed, a whole bunch of other stuff. So I never ended up being able to beat his motherfucking ass like I wanted to. But then I find out he was doing it through Bank of America. Now anybody who knows anything about Bank of America, at that time it was only in Atlanta primarily. So everything was being traced back to Atlanta, but had no traces of him. Moving aside, I pretty much had an aunt who lived in California. She ended up passing away. God rest her soul, Aunt Bobby Jean. She ended up passing away. During the time that she passed away, she left me some money in her will. It really sucked, and I felt really bad about it because my great-grandma, who was her mom, ended up giving me the money, but basically took part of the money to pay off that, you know, any debt that I basically owe. It's kind of crazy being 19 and having debt, so they basically paid it off. And I felt really bad because I'm like, dang, I made a really bad choice, really bad mistake, and this all happened because of my bad choices with the gay dude and everything like that. The moral of the story though is basically work hard for what you want in life, because at the end of the day, you can't scheme your way into anything. And looking back on it, if I had to do it again, looking back on it, I wouldn't do it, like, just straight up, because I ended up losing out on money that I could have used for something else. Money that my aunt had left me, like I said, was really made me feel even worse about the situation. I couldn't tell you what the gay, and speaking of this, I actually seen the gay dude like a year and a half later when I was working. This is when I was still working at Hy-Vee. I was still working at the same grocery store, but I had left and I had came back to the store like a year and a half later, and he just so happened to walk in there. Now at this point, everything was already done. I didn't even say nothing. I didn't bother him, nothing like that. I just let it go, which, me being older now, I probably wouldn't let it go. But the moral, like I said, the moral of the story is work hard for what you want. Don't try to scheme, nothing like that. But that's, man, credit cards and the scammers. What can I say? Alright, y'all. So what I want y'all to do me a favor. Let's see if we can get as many views as possible on this video, as many likes as possible. Share it. Share it. Share it with your homies. Let them know. We gonna be having real nigga stories every Saturday. Every Saturday we gonna have another real nigga story, man. We gonna keep this going. We gonna keep this going, alright? So remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and all that. It's your boy Gemini Gamer 1990 signing out. God bless. You dig?